Hey you guys, it's the Girl in the Dreamcatcher.
You're watching Pop Crush. The inspiration behind the name, The Girl in the Dreamcatcher, to make a long story short, we had a name that we really liked, and it didn't end up working out, so we came up with another name. It ended up being taken by a band in Delaware. So then we sent our feelers out to all of our friends, our family, our loved ones, just being like, please help us come up with a band name because we've come up with two and they've been stolen from us.
And this one stuck because it was incredibly imagery based, and we're both very image based, like songwriters, and everything that we do is very like imagery related, and this one really stuck out to us because of that. We both came up with the EP title.
Yeah.
It was actually the same thing.
Yeah, Son's friends and family. We were just sitting in
Your car.
my car, just throwing names out, and she had her notes open on her iPhone, and we were just taking a list down. And again, Negatives just sort of stuck out from all of the others on the list because the exact same thing of how evocative it was. You know, it makes you think of camera negatives. It also obviously makes you think of the opposite of positives.
We're both very like instinct-based people. One of the first things he told me was like anything he does because it's his gut, and I wait for signs from everything. I'm like, I won't do this unless I know for sure and I see a sign and I feel it in my soul. And both the name, The Girl in the Dreamcatcher, and the name Negatives were both those things for us. We just like heard it and we were like, yes, that's it. So.
Mine is, I keep finding diamonds every time I fall, so why would anybody play it safe at all?
From My Way.
From My Way.
I think my favorite lyric off the EP is also from My Way, which is, wow, it's so great when you don't remember the lyrics to your own song that you wrote. What's my favorite one? Where it's,
yeah, I try to do it like the cool
kids do. Fake it till you make it till your face turns blue, but I gave it up. Figured out a little bit about myself, nothing left of me. If I am someone else, it's not worth the cost. Because I think that's just very indicative of where I am in my life. It's like figuring out a little bit about myself. There's nothing left of me if I pretend to be someone else. Yes, it is.
Someone else, so I gave it up.
Oh. See, I don't even know the lyrics to our own song. But it's true, it's true. When there's nothing left of you, it's because you're trying to be someone else. So always strive to be yourself, kids.
She remembers the lyrics when we perform them.
Most of the time.
To be fair, you always
Most
remember.
of the time. Except for glowing. Don't say what you're gonna say. Ryan was gonna make a snarky comment about how I fell asleep.
You told me not to say it. So what's yours?
My most memorable was recording Monster with you.
Oh man.
Oof.
We worked with this fantastic producer named Dustin Burnett out of Nashville, and we wrote Monster all by ourselves and brought it to this producer and said, what do you think? And he was like, I love it, let's record it. And he put a track down and we love it, and obviously loved it at the time. And he said, this song is so intimate and emotional, and it plays back and forth so fluidly. And so what I would like to do, he said, was set up 2 microphones in 2 isolated booths and have you actually record the song together.
Live, yeah. And we never do it that way. And you shouldn't.
Usually you go into the studio one at a time, you kind of go line by line. You sing a verse, and then you stop, and then you sing it again, and you stop, and then once you do it 10 times, you have it, and then you move on. We sang the whole song through together at the same time, almost like a live performance, and that's how we got the vocals, and it was so intimate.
And it was also like 2 in the morning, and we were in Nashville, and it was like dark outside, and we were both just like, we've been writing for like 12 hours, so we were like crashy and crazy, and we were just like sitting at the mics like crying. But it never works that way. You usually do all Ryan and then all me, or vice versa. So it was very like emotional and special, and I think that's why the chemistry on the track is so palpable.
Mm-hmm. We are absolutely playing Pokemon Go. We played it on the way to this interview. Mm-hmm. I have more Pokemon than you do.
Okay, but I have more rare Pokemon than you do.
That's not true at all.
I catch all the rare ones. Usually the rare ones show up for me and not you.
You catch all the rare ones, and then you show them to me, and I say, oh yeah, I have that one.
Do you have a Squirtle?
No.
If I could have any superpower for the day, I tend to, okay, so silly answer would be I would just go to the gym and like watch people work out, and then I would reap the benefits. Like if I was just like, I did 3 hours of cardio today, like that would be great. I lifted 400 pounds. That's my silly answer, but my real answer would probably be, I always talk about this, and if I ever like got a tattoo, it would be something related to this. But I truly believe, and I have since I was like 8, you can read it in my like 8-year-old terrible handwriting journals. Handwriting still looks that way though. Lots of coffee. But I believe that there's this energy between all people that's tying us together. And it's this sort of like, and I see a lot of people also talk about it, which makes me excited because I'm like, oh my God, we all think it's the same thing. It's this sort of like golden flow that like no matter what you can achieve with anybody if you just get past the, so I always used to refer to it as like dust on old books. You have to like dust it all off to see the glow. And I think that so many conflicts would be resolved if people were just reminded that we all have this thread running through us. And so I really wish I could like and like golden thread people together so that we could resolve so many things so quickly and like, you know, break language barriers and break belief barriers and all the other preconceived notions and stuff like that. So.
Invisibility. I mean, in a lot of ways, she is. Like, I learn so much from her every single day. I don't know. Frank Sinatra.
Your dad?
My dad.
I think my role models, well, yeah, I would say him, and that's not just because he said that, but we're so opposite in so many ways, and so I'm always like, I'm first always confused about what he says, and then I'm like, okay, I can integrate that. That's a good thing for me to learn. Because we're just so different, and it's beautiful. I would say Kristen Chenoweth. She's just like, I mean, one of the most talented people in the world, but also just like an exemplary human being. Like, she never leaves anybody without making them better. And then, yeah, my mom and my sister. My favorite nickname for him is Bear. Bear. He's a big bear.
I'm boring. I just call her babe and baby.
Sometimes you call me things like Cupcake and like.
Yeah, I come up with some fun ones.
They're always sort of like one-timers.
A little
though.
Poliwag.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
I would say the best way to figure out if a guy has a crush on you too is to ask him. But it depends on your age, because I was always kind of that person. Well, not with him. Not with him. I was way too shy. But when I was in like middle school, I would be like, "Do you like me?"
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's so much easier said than done. It is scary as all get out, but like once you do it, and then once you do it again, and then once you do it maybe a third time, it just becomes so much less scary. And like the worst that can happen is that he says no, and that's okay, because if he doesn't like you back, he isn't good enough for you. So
that's right,
find
girl.
a better one.
Or boy.
And then ask him, and he's probably going to say yes. And then you waste like months of anticipation and fear and all of that horrible stuff that I'm just getting worked up thinking about.
That's right, girls. It's 2016. And boys. Girls and boys, 2016. Go out. Claim your prize.
Don't be scared. It's not worth it.
Don't be scared. No fear.
Favorite song of the moment?
You know what mine is. My favorite song of the moment is Heathens by 21 Pilots.
Oh, I thought you were going to say The Ocean by Mike Perry.
I can't get over Heathens. Like, it literally, you know.
My friends are heathens, take it slow.
You know when sometimes
They
a
don't
song.
sound like that. That was offensive. They're really good singers.
They're really good. You know when like a song comes on and it, like sometimes you're like, oh, it's a good song. And then some songs literally like make your blood boil. I heard that for the first time and I was like, ah! Like, it was like a shot of espresso. I was so excited.
We've had a few of those today.
Yeah.
I like Circles by Machine Heart. It's just a dope track.
What about that? I'm only human, can you see?
Oh, Flume. Never Be Like You. Oh, that song is good. That's my answer.
Yep.
Dream collaboration. Sound off.
Chainsmokers.
Here we go.
Chainsmokers,
Disclosure.
Flume,
Ellie Goulding.
Macklemore, Skrillex.
Diplo. My favorite inspirational quote, and one that I live by, like live every second of my life by, is thoughts become things, so choose the good ones.
Yeah. I think my favorite quote, which has been my favorite quote since I was like 13, is a Mother Teresa quote, which is, if you judge someone, you have no time to love them, which, I mean, can be sort of one of those things that you see on like a kombucha and be like, oh, cool. Or you can like really think about it. And if something, my grandmother sent me something similar too, where it was like, there is no room in your heart for both fear and faith, and you have to choose one. And I've always thought about that. And I dip in and out of it too. But like when I really remember that, you can feel so much more like connected to people and life and like that sort of big golden thread again. There's only time to love if you're gonna choose one. A little while ago, a fan got a tattoo of my signature, which I do not encourage, but that's probably by far the craziest.
Laugh.
He never screws up.
If we screw up during a live performance, we laugh. We address it. Like there was one show where a string on my guitar broke, and so I have a backup guitar in case that happens. So I replaced my guitar, and luckily it broke at the very end of the song. So I finished the song, and then I replaced my guitar, and I got my other guitar, and the guitar was tuned for a totally different song that I had been playing prior, and I totally forgot to tune it before the show. And so we started playing, and it was like, da-da-da-boom, and it was like, oh. And so I was literally like, I didn't tune my guitar, so I'm gonna do that. Talk amongst yourselves. If we forgot words one time. Oh, I started the song and sang the wrong verse, and I was like, it's not the right verse. I'm just gonna do the song again. 2 for 1. Here we go. Like that's just a good thing to do in life. Like if you mess up, just call it out because everyone's thinking it. You might as well say it.
Ryan has a whole plan for the zombie apocalypse.
So if there was a zombie apocalypse, I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I would have to raid all of the pharmacies in the local area, and then we would go to the soundstage where we shot Liv and Maddie, and we would close the elephant doors.
Or Costco. Costco has...
Everyone will be there.
But the
And
ceiling,
it's not armored.
The ceiling isn't glass, it's plexiglass.
All right, well, I love you, you'll die, and I'll survive.
Thank you for all the love.
I love you,
There's not enough food
you'll
at
die.
craft services.
We'll pharmacy.
We're like
we'll
genuinely,
also go to the
we're like,
grocery store.
hold on. No. Well, honestly, I was raised in Washington with chickens, and we had to defend the chickens.
Same thing.
And so I was always kind of around like big shotguns. And so I think, and I also had to learn how to shoot one at the shooting range for a role that I was going to do that I ended up not doing. And so I have like crazy accurate aim, but I can't tell if in a zombie apocalypse, yeah, everybody would be scared. I can't tell if in a zombie apocalypse I would like break down and be the thing in the corner like, protect me, or if I would like so rise to the occasion and be like, get behind me. It's either one. I'd be nothing in the middle.
If you broke down and cried and you were sitting in the corner, would you rather be in the corner of a protected armored soundstage or a Costco with electronic opening doors?
Costco has big giant teddy bears and playgrounds, so.
The meaning behind Cry Wolf, well, obviously the whole story about, crying wolf and saying you're going to do something but not doing it, saying you're going to do something and not doing it, and then when it really comes down to it and you have to do it, not being able to because, they won't believe you, that whole thing. We wanted to play with that. When we started dating, we were very young and
Very dramatic.
very dramatic, and then still are to some degree. And there's that sort of typical archetype in a young relationship where when the chips are down and when you're like in the middle of a really bad fight, it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to leave.
Yeah.
So, okay, do it. Why don't you leave? Bye.
And then you like walk out the door, and you get in your car, and then you come back, and you're like, what did you mean by that?
Yeah, because you're not actually going anywhere, but you don't know what else to do because you're just so angry. And so we've done that 8 million times with each other. And even when we're like, no, we're serious this time, we're like, I know you're serious, fine, go. Like, we know that we aren't serious, but we do it all the time. And that's what that song is about.
Some couples don't fight. Some couples are like, you need to fight once a day for, to blow off steam. Like, that's natural. Like, we need to fight. We're actors.
As far as music videos are concerned, we love to make them. We produce them, and when we create them all on our own, which is an amazing gift that we've been given. Sort of the plan right now is to release the EP and just see what people say. We was just saying, like, we did a couple live shows, and people came to the shows, and they said, oh, we really want to buy merch. So we said, oh, okay, and we made merch. Really dropped a website, sold some merch. And we made some singles, and people were like, oh, we want more music. So we made an EP. We love to listen to the fans, and we love to do what the fans ask for. And so kind of what we're hoping for is that the EP drops, and there's one song that the fans really gravitate towards, and that's probably the song that'll have the music video, and we'll release that later this year.
Yeah, See, okay, we love to do music videos. It's like our favorite thing ever, but we are producing them ourselves, you know, getting our friends to direct them, like, obviously, like,
Yeah,
it's very...
It's a straight month of work.
It's a straight month of work, and because it's all on us, because usually when you're an artist, like, you have somebody who comes to you and you're like, this is what you're doing today, and then they take care of everything, and people, including us in the beginning, don't understand how incredibly time-consuming it is to have just like 2 people doing it. And so it's definitely something to sign on for. It's also definitely very expensive, and like by anyone's standard. And so we wanted to, or well, I sort of had the thought that we would wait, because I really wanted to do like a huge, like something that we've never done, maybe the price of like 3 videos for the most popular song on the EP, just to do something like crazy, because we keep trying to do better than we did before.
So if you have like a rich uncle or something.
Yeah.